back to another video. This one is a bit of a mad one. So there's a job that we will be doing. We have a Range Rover Evoque that needs stripping. It needs engine coming out of it, doors off it, wind mirrors, exhaust, loads of stuff, you name it. Pretty much stripping the whole thing. So long story short, it's for another garage who don't really have the time to do it. They bought it as a crash damage car. As far as I'm aware, some girl had crashed it, made a bit of a mess, but there's a load of good stuff still on it. Engine actually still runs. Drive shaft's been snapped straight out the side of it, so it doesn't actually roll, but you can turn the car on. First beat, runs, drives, would drive. Gearbox seems fine. There's loads of good bits on it, but because of the sort of car it is and the way that it was crashed and into the corner and stuff, seems like they've just called it a write-off, paid her out. So it's been bought, basically cheap to strip for parts. So we will be stripping this Range Rover down. But there also is a bit of a sticky one when it comes to where we are and the unit. I'll talk to you a bit more about that in a second. As you can see, it's had a bit of a side smash. Airbags have gone off, windscreen's cracked. If you look in this gap here, drive shaft's just completely ripped out. It's bent a few things, all front ends off, but that still purrs like a kitten. Is absolutely fine. Gearbox is fine. There's a couple of good things on it. A lot of the seats are intact. The actual airbags are not. The back doors are absolutely fine. It's a bit of a mess inside, but the back doors are absolutely fine. The wheels, apart from that one, seem okay. The tailgate is absolutely fine. So yeah, there's a couple of things we could take off this that are still going to be either worth some money or good for a different Range Rover. To take the jumper off because it's absolutely boiling. But whilst I'm taking this headlight out, or at least trying to find the nut that's hidden, that's about right. Range Rover had an issue with the unit. Now, when I say an issue with the unit itself is fine. I'm fine. However, what has been the problem is they want all these units to be storage units. They don't want anyone to work in them. They're basically fed up with the motor trade. It sounds like they have to pay a load of money in insurance or something to have motor trade on here. They're not willing to do that. I've basically been given my unit on a lie. They're trying to say that I originally said I wanted it for storage. I didn't. They're trying to say they didn't know anything about me being a mechanic. Bear in mind, I used to work around the corner on the same industrial estate, and the industrial estate manager has known me for ages. He knows I'm a mechanic, he knows what I do, he knows what I wanted the unit for. And he didn't seem to have an issue. But unfortunately, by the looks of it, the actual industrial estate itself has a big issue, which is obviously not very good for me. TJ Autos is not going anywhere. The unit might go somewhere, and I might have to move by the looks of it. I'm still in the middle of talking to the managers of the industrial estate and you know, seeing what the actual crack is. But it might seem that I might not be staying here, which is a bummer, especially due to, you know, I got this unit cheap. It was one of the cheapest units online. I already knew the industrial estate. You know, there was a couple of things that worked out in my favour. It's not the best unit in the world, as you can see. It's a bit run down. We've had to put a lot of time and effort into the inside to make it nice and neat. It was a mess, absolute mess when I first come in this unit. If you look at these pictures on screen now, it was disgusting, and it doesn't look like that anymore. The outside still needs a lot of work, but I don't think I'll be doing that now. Until we figure out what is actually going on, until we figure out if we can stay, if we can't stay, if it's just set in stone, storage purposes only, you can't work here, we've got to try and finish this off as quickly as possible. I would expect that I'm going to be getting an email to do with all this tomorrow, which means this engine needs to be out by tomorrow morning. It's Father's Day today, it's Sunday. I'm slightly late on the video because of what's been going on. I was supposed to be starting this on Friday. And it was Thursday that I heard the news. So this video is probably out on Monday or whenever you're watching it. I was supposed to be doing a video every Sunday. Slightly delayed me, a couple of problems, but we move. So today is going to be a bit of a mix and match. It's going to be like what we've done to the unit so far, couple of different things, but majority of this video now, from after I've done all my ranting, is taking this bad boy out. So we've already started. I've just got the front bumper off and the headlight that's actually in working use, which is right there. So the headlight's out. This headlight was already out because that was, as you can probably tell, that one got smashed to smithereens. So now we're going to start working on the front end. The radiator is actually in perfect nick. So is the air conditioning. So we're going to have to drain the aircon properly. Some people just let the gases out. Not supposed to be doing that. That's highly illegal. So we won't do that. So we've got to get the aircon gas out. We've got to drain all the water. Start taking both radiators out for the aircon and the water. Get some little bits out. For example, there's like little tiny things that still work that are salvageable that might go on this other Range Rover or whatever it's going on. For example, horns, that side headlight, water bottle on this side. The airbox seems absolutely fine. So there's a lot of it that we're going to have to keep nice and neat, put into a box, and then we can take the engine out as one. So majority of what's on the engine is going to stay on the engine. I think from the top, the only thing that's not going to stay, by the looks of it, is the water bottle, the fuel filter housing, and the brackets around it. Couple of different pipes, air box, obviously battery, fuse box can stay on because we'll take the wiring loom off together with the engine. All the front end radiators, piping, all brackets, screen wash bottle. There's a few things, little niggly bits, nothing major. And then we'll get this all nice and open, all as one. Take everything out surrounding the engine, underneath as well. For example, the exhaust will have to come off. Drive shaft from this side, because the drive shaft on the other side, as you're seeing, is completely snapped off. Couple of different bits that we'll have to like take off and take out and take around, wiring, bits of hoses, stuff like that. And majority of it should sit together, and we can just pull it straight out forwards. So, enough bitching and moaning about the unit. It's a bummer, but we move. So let's crack on with engine. Okay, so with a quick 5-10 minutes, we've managed to get water bottle out, a couple of the plastic pieces that surround it, the crash bar, a couple of sensors, pipes. So it's pretty open now. So now we can start moving on to, I think we'll go from the top now, start taking our top panel from the bulkhead that meets the bonnet. I think we'll start taking that off, so we can get to a couple more of the water pipes and stuff. Then we can start draining the water. Then we can start doing the aircon. So with the air conditioning, you have to have a special AC tool. There is a lot of garages out there that just pull an aircon pipe off, walk away, leave it. I think, if I'm right in saying, it's up to like a £10,000 fine. It might be even more than that if you do that with aircon, because the gases that are in air conditioning is poisonous. It's not good for your environment and everything like that. So if you ever get caught doing it, you're in big trouble. So we ain't doing that. So we'll get rid of the air conditioning, we'll get rid of the water, we'll take this top panel off, and hopefully by then we can start pulling the radiators out. As you can see, not great for a ginger today for be working. Great to be walking around in, but it is boiling. So if you see a red face on majority of this video, that's why. So as you can see, I've got all that bit off. It's looking miles easier to get to now. Now, realistically, I didn't have to take these off. So these actually sit, if I show you now, these actually sit inside of here. So imagine that's the top. They actually sit sideways like that. Now usually you can get to everything on the sides. Now because this one's crash damage, I couldn't get to anything in this corner, so I've just took them off. But normally you wouldn't have to take them off. It's literally the bolts are on the top, bolts at the bottom, a couple of different bits of wires that hold them on, and of course the locking mechanisms for the boot itself, which you have to take off. So I've kept it all together. I've just snipped that plug because it was all damaged at the end anyway, and it was all tangled, so it's no good. But them locking mechanisms are off, out the way. Remember guys, a lot of this is being scrapped. I'm not being as careful maybe as I would have if this was like a customer's car and it was just the engine coming out and a new one going in. But this is primarily being used for parts. Someone stuck that learner's badge there, by the way, as a joke. It wasn't a learner that crashed this car. So yeah, there's a couple of things that I know I can just snip off, take away and leave, but there's also some things that I know definitely can't. So if you're doing this yourself, to completely change the engine, take one out, put one in, something along them lines, try and be as careful as you can. I shouldn't have snipped that wire. I should have been a bit more careful with the washer bottom motors, but I know that that's not an issue. Also, the crash sensor was already broken, so I actually haven't snipped that one. I've tried to keep it off as neat as I can by taking the poppers out. Just do the right thing, get the right tools, and you shouldn't have an issue. But for this one, I could be a bit of a cowboy with it. So we are getting further. So managed to use, I don't actually have the air conditioning units that draw the aircon out, so I've just had a garage around the corner, come down with air gear, plug in, do that. So that's all safely done. Water got dropped, did spill a tiny bit because I'm an idiot and started taking the pipes off without the bucket underneath. So I am trying to mop a bit of it up on the floor with some rags, but we're there or thereabouts. Then what we've managed to do from there is we've managed to take both radiators out, which was the aircon radiator and obviously your water radiator, your coolant radiator, whatever you want to call it. Then we've just got a couple of bits off the top, which was windscreen wipers, some plastic trimmings. We've got the battery out from this side, which I should have really started with the battery, but I forgot, I'll be honest. So, as you can see, it's looking nice and open now. A lot more room for activity. And to be honest, I've just had a quick look round. There really isn't that much to take off. I've never took out a Range Rover Evoque engine. And right now it's proving to be pretty alright. You know, I've only snipped 2 wires that was right at the front. That was all crash damage in this corner. It's been binned anyway. No one cared. But apart from them 2 wires, everything's come off nice and neat. All the pipes are together. You know, there's no issues with anything so far. So we're going to take this battery casing off. A couple of things from this side. The fuel filter and the housing, we're going to take that off, and then that should give me even more room for activities, and we can start looking what's around, what sort of wiring needs to come over to the engine, what's going to stay with like the fuse box side, see what's staying where basically. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Always, always, always remember your handy dandy box. So this box is a life-saving box. When I'm doing any jobs where things are being replaced with new bolts, but the old bolts are okay, you always put the new bolts in just to make sure on pretty much any job. Doesn't matter. If it comes with new bolts, of course, not all things do. If you're doing anything like this, where you're keeping, say, majority of the centre of the engine with most of the things around it and on it, but there's a couple of things that are coming off that are going in the scrap, for example, all that is for scrap. All that over there is either no good, been crash damaged, barged into. I think I'll keep the airbox. Airbox looks fine, seeing as it was in this corner, which I didn't think it would be. I thought it'd have some cracks, but it doesn't look it. Radiators seem fine, which is great, so we'll keep the radiators. But all the bolts, your best bet, so I've missed a couple here, so your best bet is honestly keeping a box. Boom. If you know you don't need them for the next job, which is obviously when this engine goes into another Range Rover, always keep your bolts, because you'll never know when you're in the middle of a job and there's like a strip bolt and you've got to re-thread it, re-tap it, and this, that and the other, and you go, oh my god, well the bolt's knackered. What do I do? More than likely, if you've kept enough spares, you'll probably always have a bolt handy to go on. Majority of cars these days all share the same things. They're always certain Torx bolts, they're always certain Allen key bolts, they're always certain 10 mils and 13 mils and certain lengths and sizes. Majority of them use the same shit in every single car. It just is. So you might go to a Range Rover or a Jaguar and they might have a shed load of 10 mil heads, different size threads and stuff, shed load of 13s. You might go to a Mercedes. A lot of middle-aged Mercedes love female Torx bolts with the male head. Again, different sizes, different widths, blah, blah, blah. So if you keep it a good array of them, as long as you're not forgetting to put them back on a customer's car, don't do that. As long as you keep it a good array of them, usually, if you're struggling on a different job and you need a bolt, you probably do have it. So as you can see now, we've just took the ECU out. We've got the wiring together. So like I said, there are parts that will stay with the car. So this bit that sits on top of the earth lead, which will go straight to the fuse box. More than likely the opposite, the other car that this is going in, will have all that. If it doesn't, he'll tell me, I can whip it all out. But majority of that will stay on the car. It's usually the main ECU kit and wiring that will stay on the vehicle. So as you can see, every time I'm getting something, I'm just pulling it over nice and neat, trying not to bend too much things, moving pipes within each other, keeping them together. just so then when I take the whole engine out, everything's together and it can literally just be slotted back in. Everything moved to one side, replugged when it goes into the other car. There's not much left. There's a couple of pipes that go into the bulkhead here, which I'll have to get off. There's bound to be some water pipes for the air conditioning, which I presume actually is them too. Yes, it is. So we'll get them off, and then hopefully, if we take just the bottle off for your brake fluid, because we don't have to mess with that. If we take just the bottle off and then pipes, should actually be able to move this this bulkhead cover that sits around the back, or fire cover, or whatever they want to call this, unless there isn't anything underneath that's connected, which I'll have to have a look. I might actually be able to leave it there by the looks of it. So the next thing is we're going to take this off, because as you can see, it is actually covering the engine mountings, which we will need to remove the engine. This one is nice and free now, so that's fine. A couple of things that need neatening up, wiring and stuff that is obviously linking back to the car and into the fuse box, so I'll have to sort this wiring out here. A couple of pipes on this side. A majority of that should be done. Gear linkages, they'll come off. This side shouldn't be too far off by the looks of it, so a majority of it will be this side, and then it'll be exhaust underneath, a couple of different brackets, and more engine mountings. So the next clip you are probably going to see, I'll be wearing something different. I probably won't look this sweaty unless the weather's the same, because I'm actually going to go home, but it's all going to be in the same video for you guys. I've done probably 2 hours of work on this. I've been here for about 3, but again, been talking to people, been down to the gym. I've had the aircon took out by a different garage. So myself, I've probably spent about 2 hours on it. Got about this far, which is decent. There's not much on the top now. Majority is just engine mountings, a couple of different pipes. Majority of it will be underneath, exhaust, drive shaft, things like that. So we'll crack on with them now. For me, it'll be tomorrow. And I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my Father's Day. So if there's anything interesting that happens, you'll know in the next clip. So yeah, I'd probably say, from the looks of it, the next clip will be me taking out fuel system off. Let's run it up. And we're back. So it's another day for me, and we're going to try and get this Range Rover moved so we can put it inside where the Corsa is. We're going to move the Corsa out. The Corsa runs and drives. Thinking I'd left the actual electric handbrake off, and I obviously haven't, so I'm having to connect the ECU and the battery back up dead quick so we can pull it away, because if we can't pull it away, we can't get the Corsa out. So that is the next job. I wish I just got that on video. I've just sprayed diesel all over myself because, like an idiot, I didn't realise that I'd actually disconnected these fuel pipes right here. So I've gone to turn the ignition on, and it's obviously kicked up the fuel pump, which has just sprayed diesel all over me. Luckily I turned it off in time. It's literally sprayed no more than like 2 litres, not even that. But yeah. That was a bit of a fight. I am dripping. Obviously that clip just cut short of me actually manoeuvring it in here, because I may or may not have got it stuck on my shutter door on this corner at one point, and I had to go and get some help to adjust it and put it back in. Not to mention the bottom arm on here is completely snapped off. Drive shaft is completely out there. I mean, it's got stuck in place now somehow. So that was scraping across the floor with the wheel angling out to the left-hand side, whilst the opposite wheel on the front was angling out to the right-hand side. So the car did not know which way it wanted to move. So that was a struggle, but we've got it all axle standing up. We've got one at front, two at back with the jack in place as well. Give us a bit of height. Going to get the underneath done. A couple of things on the top. Redisconnect that fuel system that may or may not have splashed me. And yeah, so let's get cracking with the last bit. There's a lot of tedious bits, so there'll be a couple of time lapses and a couple of bits of sped up clips. But when that's done, I'll video the majority of actually getting the engine out. That's always the fun bit, getting a forklift in, ripping the thing out. You know, us blokes we like the bits that make you feel like a kid. If you can do a couple of donuts on a forklift and then lift the engine out and take it away, it's usually pretty fun. So, really quick without taking up too much time, there is a series I want to do. Bit of a generic series, I'll be honest, but I've got some ideas, some challenges and some twists that I think will make this certain series a hell of a lot better than ones I've seen. So basically, I need your comments down below. I am going to be doing a poll on Facebook and Instagram. The links are in the description or on screen right now. So if you do want to click on the poll and vote and stuff like that. But I need some comments on a cheap budget race car build. Always wanted to do one. Bit generic. Lots of people, lots of car enthusiast YouTubers have done this before, but I want to take it to the next level. So I want to start off with the cheapest car possible, but I want to make it something pretty unreal. Now, I've got some ideas of how I can do that on multiple different cars. I need to know what sort of car you guys think would be the best for that. So if you can leave a comment, you know, we thought of like Nissan Micros, we thought of MX-5s, we thought of this, we thought of that. Things that are cheap that we know we could do some sort of build with. However, I want something with a bit more character, something that's a bit, you know, not as usual, not something you see on the road a lot, but can still start it off pretty cheap. So if anyone's got any ideas, it could be a silly idea, I don't care what it is. If you turn around and say it's some sort of minivan or something, I don't know. If you can pick them up cheap and it's more unusual than your common Corsas, MX-5s, things like that, that would be great. No matter which build we go for, even if it is a generic one, the ideas still match, and I think I can do something pretty cool with it. But if you do have any ideas and you've got something on your mind that's like completely, you know, no one would ever build a bloody mini race car out of this, then drop it in the comments. Let me see what you guys think. But that is a project that I want to be coming very soon. So like I said, got any ideas, let us know. So I have just had the water bottle fall on my head, but this is tight. This is extremely tight. So, someone's played around with it before for definite. The pinch bolt, look how bent that is. It's not straight at all. So someone's definitely messed around with it before. It took me quite a while to get that out because of how bent it was. That was stuck in solid. But the actual bottom arm doesn't want to come out. Now, I can cut it because, again, the rest of the body isn't needed. But I'm thinking of just taking the whole thing off, because the wishbone's easy to get off. It's literally 2 or 3 bolts on the left hand side, 1 bolt on this right hand side, And then if you look at the top, it's nice and easy. It's just 1, 2, 3 to drop the entire arm. So I might just drop it all together and then just push the drive shaft down. Instead of trying to sit there cutting and grinding things. That's probably what I'm going to do. Let's get the arm out. I'll tell you one thing, that was one way of doing it. Everything was seized. Everything was a mess. I couldn't really be arsed with the drop link. So, I've left it with the drop link on and everything else off. So the whole wishbone arm is there. It's even still got bloody ABS sensor and everything connected. I just thought the drop link isn't going to hold the weight of it. Neither is the ABS sensor. If anything, it'll just rip out and I don't need it. So let's just get the main wishbone off and basically remove. And yeah, we have done so. The good news is that arm's all right. Looks like it's got brand new spring on it and everything. It's still got all the stickers and all that. So that arm, that whole entire arm can be sold really. Probably take the wishbone off because with the bolts being so seized on, may have made a mess of the bushes, but doesn't really matter. So the good news is we've now got a big, massive open gap here to play with. We can take the drive shaft out and then we can see if there's anything more on this left-hand side. I don't think there is. But honestly, that was that seized. I had to stop the time lapse to move my phone out the way. I've used heat, almost a full bottle of Dub D. Yeah, that was a nightmare. But it's out, so we don't care. Probably would have just been easier me cutting it. But we can get the drive shaft out now, which is great news. And then we can move on to the exhaust, I think is next. So if you couldn't tell already, I'm not at the unit, but this video is in 2 parts. Ended up getting slightly longer than I wanted it to. So I've edited it all in 2 parts. So I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you comment about them cars. If you think you've got an idea for us to build a cheap project, race car build sort of thing, and you think you've got something unusual, make sure you comment it down below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed part 2. See you later.